If a tree falls in the forest and no one is around, does it make a sound? Of course it does. Just because we aren't there ourselves to hear it, see it, it doesn't affect us, right? Now imagine being on Pine Island Glacier in Antarctica on September 24th of 2015, blinding white and cold. The only sound is the wind whipping off the snow, then a huge crack, like an earthquake. A piece of ice the size of Manhattan separates from the main shelf. The pace of global consumption of our natural resources is magnifying the gradual and man-caused changes taking place within our global climate. Our preferred poison, fossil fuels, and deforestation, which are then becoming a major source of heating up our planet. The key issue is that this consumption releases carbon dioxide along with numerous other harmful emissions into the atmosphere. This pace of global consumption cannot be controlled any longer by Mother Nature alone, the way she has in the past because humans have demolished her filters, the trees. This has led to a tipping point and is creating imbalance in the Earth's ecosystems and threatens all life on our fragile planet. Global warming is only the tip of the iceberg problems, excuse the pun, but well intended. This rise in temperature is melting the icebergs, which are increasing the water levels of the ocean. According to NASA, most of the warming has occurred in the past 35 years, with 16 of the 17 warmest years on record occurring since 2001. Think about that. There's beginning to be a better emphasis placed on going green to reduce the emissions of carbon gases into the atmosphere, but is it too little too late? Global warming is a major problem right now for animals, plants, and human beings. In regards to funding, politics, and policies, the hope of climate stabilization is not looking good for us. It's like we're falling into a deeper hole each and every day with no hope. It may cost billions, but it's undeniable that it needs to be turned around now to prevent the worst. With the intention of understanding more regarding global warming, there is a need for understanding it, along with its process and the similar implications. Global warming is already showing to have a devastating impact on Earth. The slight changes in temperature are causing extreme weather conditions in Europe, the United States, and flooding in Australia. These disasters will spread across the globe. Global warming changes are happening now and will change the way we live. Our very existence is already in danger. The uncertainty is whether the carbon emissions causing global warming will be short-lived or will have a bigger impact on the planet. The gradual increment in average temperature has affected the plants of the planet. Changes in the climate, numerous plant species can be harmed by even the smallest shift in conditions. The plants of the polar regions and mountains are particularly in an alarming condition due to global warming. In these areas with the melting of ice, the plants are threatened because the environment is too warm as compared to the normal temperature that the plants are familiarized with. While certain plants are capable of adapting to the changes in the temperature, a number of plants are not capable of doing so. Global warming over the previous decade has become one of the primary reasons for the increase in the numerous wildfires we're experiencing and impacting many areas around the globe. This is a repercussion of the ensuing severe droughts and record high temperatures. These fires in return increase the greenhouse gases within the atmosphere. As the temperature starts to increase in a particular area, plants have started growing in areas where their growth is notably outside what would be considered their native geography. They are attempting to adapt to the changes of global warming. For a number of plants, the growing seasons are directly impacted with the changes in the temperatures. With this change in the temperature, a number of plants are not able to reproduce. This causes numerous plant species to turn out to be limiting in its natural propagation or just on their way to extinction. With plant life underwater, we are witnessing similar destruction. The higher temperature of water restricts plants' capability of thriving and reproducing, most notably the rapid destruction of the ecosystem that is the Great Barrier Reef in Australia. Changing patterns in seasons and weather will affect a number of animals. It has been predicted that the population of animals will tend to move in the direction of the poles. Migration of animals might alter the timing of their travel. They may alter routes to and from their summer and winter homes based on the conditions. Animals' entire populations might also permanently move for escaping the high temperatures, though not every species will be capable of moving or moving fast enough. Those species might not survive. It's been estimated by researchers that global warming might drive 15 to a full 37% of North American animal species to extinction by 2050. An additional negative side effect is the migration number of dangerous species. For example, malaria-carrying mosquitoes might work their way into areas which they've never lived. In the United States, 1,400 forms of animals and plants have been studied recently by scientists. It has been found that over 80% of them start spring activities earlier than they historically have. On average, birds nest, insects hatch, frogs mate, and trees bud. This is now happening over 1 week earlier as compared to their habits and patterns recorded since the 1960s. An additional study conducted in 2003 concluded that about 1,700 global animal and plant species had moved in the direction of the poles. Each decade, they shift about 6.4 kilometers, 4 miles, closer to the poles than over the previous 50 years. Furthermore, marine studies concur that the stress of rapidly rising temperatures and habitat destruction could easily disrupt the connectedness among the species, leading to possible extinction. Let me reinforce that point. There's no coming back from extinction. Now flash forward to September 2017, again at Pine Island Glacier, Antarctica. Another typical day of wind, not quite so much cold. I don't think crack would capture the magnitude of what happened. Simply put, there was another breakage. This chunk of ice that was roughly 4.5 times the size of Manhattan fell into the ocean. 4.5 times the size. Global warming and the changing climate have the potential for drastically altering life on Earth. Certain impacts of global warming in the coming years might not be as bad as have been projected or predicted, but others may be worse. We cannot reverse the situation. The Earth is already warming. Some degree of climate change is inevitable, natural, but the future is not set in stone. By acting quickly to reduce greenhouse gases, the planet still has time for avoiding the worst that might be brought on by global warming. Towering glaciers are shrinking and melting all over the planet. The level of sea is rising, threatening to put seaside lands underwater. Delicate balance, animals, plants on our Earth is in danger, and there is a need to move together with the intention of slowing and preventing global warming. Thank you.